Welcome, everyone, to A Haunting in Stratton. Penned by Ryland Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard. Episode 15, Awaken from Death. Even though Ryan heard the words from outside his window, his mind was still calculating whether he should stay or go. Both hands were still gripping the steering wheel as his Jeep just sat idling on the side of the road. Stay or go? Go would mean back to work, back to his high-rise apartment, all the stores the city had to offer, working with the governor, who potentially would run for president. Who would not want to be part of that? It would also mean no personal time, coming home to an empty apartment, being alone, and no Bear. Please don't go. There it is again. He heard Bear speak while he noticed a hand on the window. Looking over, his eyes met Bear's, who again looked scared and worried. It was the crack of thunder which snapped Ryan out of this fog he was in. Ryan shut the car off as Bear walked around and opened the passenger door, climbing in and slowly shutting the door. Good thing, as it started to rain. For a few brief moments, it's all you could hear between them was the drop of the rain hitting the roof. I understand if you need to go. I'm not telling you to quit your job, Bear said as his head was down, watching himself twiddling his thumbs on his lap. It's just that I fell in love with you, Bear admitted finally, as he had been carrying this for the last week, yet thought it was too soon. Hearing the last part had Ryan tearing up, as he too had been feeling this way about Bear, again thinking it was too soon and would have caused an issue. Ryan reached for Bear, who then took his hand into Ryan's. I feel the same way. I was just afraid to say anything. I had a feeling something was up when you got off the phone. If I didn't tell you, then I would have regretted it, Bear said, kissing the top of Ryan's hand. Ryan would have left without ever knowing that someone loved him, something he has not had in his life in a long time. Thinking about it, Ryan knew they both shared a special bond. Both loved to spend time with each other. He was always thinking about Bear, which sometimes was a distraction. He was glad that no one pointed out to him, smiling, for no reason while on Zoom. I'm not leaving. I can't. I started to build a life here. The one in the city, it's not me. I did it because it was a job in politics. I had my work to keep me focused. Falling in love wasn't supposed to happen, Ryan stated. I'm glad you did. Again, I'm not trying to make you do something you don't want to. I just had to tell you and hope that you felt the same way. I love spending time with you. That and my sister would haunt me if I was to let you go, Bear said, which the last part had both laughing. Well, we don't need that, as we have enough paranormal activity just in my house, Ryan replied as Bear wiped a tear off Ryan's cheek. So what do we do now? Bear asked. It was now or never, and it seemed like the best time to go for it. Ryan stretched over the center console and kissed Bear, who returned the kiss with just as much passion and love. Wow, Bear said, smiling as they parted, taking in a breath. I'm going to head back home. Join me? Ryan replied with a smile. Of course. I'll meet you there, Bear said as he went to open the door. He paused before getting out, turned and looked at Ryan, who was starting the engine. I love you, Bear simply said, which felt good to finally say. That got a huge smile out of Ryan. I love you too, Ryan replied as Bear got out and shut the door. He would follow Ryan back to his house. Now, how to explain this to his boss, he thought as he started the car, turned around and headed back for his place. Not only that, what about his place in the city? He would have to return at some point for his belongings. And a job? What was he to do now that he has a house to run, bills to pay? One good thing is that there is no mortgage on any of the properties, just the taxes, which, surprisingly, were cheap. It was like a light bulb went off in his head as he drove through town, blowing through the one red light. As he remembered, he had the house in Newport to investigate. Maybe this can be his winter project. Perfect. Now just to get Bear on board. Where is Bear? Ryan thought, as he turned in to pull into his driveway. Bear was not behind him. Getting out of the car, Ryan stopped to look down the long driveway. Still no Bear. Oh well, he must have stopped somewhere, Ryan thought as he made his way up the steps and let himself in. He would wait for Bear in the library. Home, just how he left it, he thought to himself as he walked into the foyer, hanging his jacket on the hook. He then proceeded down the hall to the library. The house was quiet, except for the crackle of the fire that Ryan had started. Nights would be getting colder now that fall was rolling in, and soon snow would follow. He was warned by Gemma about the bad weather here in Stratton, yet decided to buy his dream home anyway. Sitting in the armchair in front of the fire, just starting off the flames, is how Bear found Ryan when he walked into the library. Again, Molly being the one to unlock the door. Penny for your thoughts, Bear said as he walked over to Ryan with a bouquet of yellow roses, which were Ryan's favorite. I think I have things covered. I just need to figure out the job part. There's nothing really here in Stratton, so I would have to commute over the mountain. Besides getting you these flowers, I also have a job offer for you. Well, the mayor does anyways. You're to call him in the morning. I ran into him at the store. He said he saw you blow a red light. So I explained, and that's when he offered a job, Bear said as he slowly walked around the room. That's awesome. I'll definitely call in the morning. Well, this is an odd painting, Bear stated as he stood on the other side of the room. Hanging between the bookshelves was a painting of an ocean liner out on a sunny day. Or, well, that's what was supposed to be depicted. Yet when Ryan walked over, that's not what he saw. That's not right at all, Ryan stated as he stood next to Bear, scratching his head. I didn't take you for the type who was into capsized ships. I'm not. That ship has been upright since I moved in. The Majestic, as it's labeled on the bottom, had indeed been painted upright and in full steam ahead in the middle of the ocean on a sunny day. Artist unknown. No way, Bear said as he reached out towards the painting. Ryan could see him rubbing his fingers together, as if they had something on them. Look, I know it's dusty in here. I may have forgotten about the painting, Ryan said. No, it's not dust. It's leaking, Bear replied, as he wiped water onto Ryan's hand. That makes two paintings that seem to come alive in this house. I'm waiting for the family portrait to start talking in the morning room. Or maybe the china set will dance around like Beauty and the Beast. Celia Black's 1985 hit, Surprise, Surprise, played in Ryan's head as that woman's song has been on every meme on TikTok, which worked perfectly for this situation, as he was no longer surprised when something spooky happened in his ghostly home. Funny, I'm reading a story which takes place on an ocean liner, Bear said as he continued to stare at the painting. Me too. I was staying with Duchess in town. Her sister Anita introduced me to Ryland Mason. I'm reading Lost, Ryan said as he walked over to his reading table, slipping a copy of Ryland's book from the pile. On the high seas? Bear asked. Yes. Did you know the mayor's in one of the stories? Wait, what? Never mind. Don't tell me as I'm just starting reading Fear, he said as his back pocket was vibrating. He answered his phone. Hey, Brian, we were just talking about you, Bear said as both sat down in front of the fire. You don't say. Well, I had a feeling this would happen. I'm sure he wouldn't mind popping over for a few minutes, as we do have plans tonight, Bear replied with a wink at Ryan. Sounds good. We'll see you soon. Ending the call, he stood. Do we have plans? Ryan asked with a grin as he stood. I already know what is going on, and I have voices all around me, so this meeting should be quick. Or would you rather me ask him about the Christmas decorating committee? Bear had a point. They would be there forever, going over plans, rules, who's on the committee, what to decorate, and meetings. I like the way you think. Let's get this over with. That and I don't feel like being out in this weather. It's cold and wet. I'll drive us over, Bear said as he followed Ryan out to the front door, grabbing coats on the way. Bear already knew that it was Mary Odell who alerted the sisters, Brian's great-great-grandmother. The question is, why? Why awaken the dead? Is this to finish the job and maybe put Wilhelmina to rest? Or were they here for what is in the mausoleum? One thing was clear. Whatever Ryan would have to face, he knew he would not have to face it alone. Ryan and Bradley had made a connection that would help him in the long run. More on that and the Sisters of the Faith in the next installment. Thank you for listening.